Do you guys remember back in when you were a little kid, and let's say, and a friend of yours would say, hey, I've got something really cool, like I remember Pokemon cards were very popular, and a friend of mine said, hey, I've got a holographic Mewtwo card, and I was like, no you don't, you jerk. There's no possible way you could possibly have that card. That's sort of like a natural response that people have, I think, when you say something, I guess, extraordinary has happened. The common response that people have is to say, nuh-uh. So later that day after school, and I remember it had to be after school because the teacher would collect your Pokemon cards in school and never give them back. And that's a whole nother rant for another day. But after school, he showed me that he did have a holographic Mewtwo card, and I just had to sort of sit there and go, oh, well, fucking shit, I guess he did have it. If any of you guys have ever had an experience like that, let me know in the comments section, because I'm curious to know what you guys' experience was like. The reason I bring this up is because a minority of people, a small number of people, who commented on my first video, go back and check it, it's the one with the most views, I think it's almost to 10,000 right now, where I talk about how I got Australiums on my first tour, and within the same like couple weeks or so, I found two unusual hats. It was an unusual milkman and an unusual fez, you know, the fez, the familiar fez. If your friend called you one day and said that they won the lottery, you probably wouldn't believe them, but somebody has won the lottery at some point in time. Incredible things do happen. The main purpose of this video is to show proof, I think a reasonable amount of proof, for some of the extraordinary claims that I've made about coming across really rare items in Team Fortress 2. I realized that if there were a way to have every little last bit of evidence, then that would obviously be ideal, but some of the evidence that you people want just doesn't exist, right? There's no like website I can go to where there's like my trade history or the history of things that I've gotten from the TF2 item server. Or if you guys know about a website like that, please tell me about it. I would love to know about it and make a video about it. So like I said, I got an Australium rocket launcher for my first tour. You guys have seen the Australium rocket launcher. I also got a Australium doesnt on my second tour. So here is this in my market history. This is me selling the doesnt for roughly around $40. I think that was fair. But I guess check the date on that. That's about January 4th. Yeah. So I used it for about a week or two, and then I sold it afterwards. What else do I have here? Here I have around the same time, we have this unusual milkman that I uncrated once again about a week or two before that. And I remember it was the money that I made from this that I unboxed more crates. And that's how I got the unusual familiar fez, which I traded for about 20 keys. And I kind of regret that, just because, I don't know, he was so willing to give me 20 keys that I feel like I could have gotten more out of it. And I don't know, like, do you ever just like regret a trade that you've done and you said, oh, I wish I would have traded that for more, or maybe even just kept it? Like, an unusual fez is pretty fucking cool. So here is my unusual milkman, and there's evidence that I had one at that point in time. So next one I wanted to show you was my page on backpack.tf. We can look here at this graph, which shows the months, right? November, December, January, February. And basically at November, at the first check of my backpack, it's not worth very much, right? Towards late December, we see the price suddenly boom up to around, what does it say? It says about 140-ish. So it's going from an almost worthless book bag up to like 140-ish. And that's part of that is because the rocket launcher, this doesn't even count the Australium rocket launcher, which doesn't count until later towards January, like right above the 2 and the 0, where you see the blue line just shoot straight up. That's when the value of the rocket launcher was finally added to backpack.tf. So my rocket launcher was in there for way longer than that, but the value was just added on that date. So now my backpack is worth 200 and some change-ish, I think. I don't know. I might not be reading that correctly. But that is showing that my backpack was nearly worthless and then instantly shot up to, you know, in the hundreds. So part of what I wanted to prove by showing you guys that is that I didn't trade for these unusuals or Australiums. I didn't trade because I didn't have anything that was worth that much to trade. So that's just a tiny bit of evidence suggesting that I actually got it from Crate. Let's see. So if you go to my backpack.tf page, which I'll give you a link to that, you can scroll down to my Australium weapons, and if you put your mouse over them, on the very bottom you see where it says Stats, Sell, History, Wiki, and you can click on the history of either of my Australium weapons and see that I am the only one who has ever owned these. So I didn't buy them from anywhere. I didn't trade them from anywhere. They are mine and always have been mine. And it says that I obtained them about, let's see, one says a month ago. The other one says 4 weeks ago. The 4 weeks ago was when I got the Australium Thomas Lab on my 9th tour. And the rocket launcher says a month ago, and that was for my first ever tour on 2 cities. Yeah, so that's the evidence that I have. I wish that there was some way to give you guys more evidence, because I know somebody is still going to say, "No, you're full of shit." But I just wanted to give what little evidence I did have, and hopefully that works for you guys. So thanks for watching. This was a really long, tedious, and boring video. Please feel free to go and watch one of the other videos I have that are actually kind of mildly entertaining. Alright, thanks. Bye.